Hello and welcome to Ballet 101 Part 1. In this part, just like in the tap, we're going to be covering things you need to know before you start. Unlike tap, both ballet and jazz are a little bit more difficult to find shoes to wear if you don't already have ballet shoes or jazz shoes. Now, ballet and jazz shoes can be used interchangeably, especially when you're at home and not actually in a professional setting. So if you have one pair, you can use them for both. But if you don't have either, it's honestly better to go barefoot until you get to turns. And the reason that I say that is most people would revert to socks, which seems like it would be the best thing to do outside of having the shoes, which I suppose technically might be true, but because socks are very, very, very slippery, it can actually become really dangerous really quickly. So until we get to the point of doing turns, I would suggest being barefoot up until that point. And when we do get to that point, which I will put at the end of each segment, the ballet and the jazz, then you've still got to be very, very careful about your balance and how slippery it is with socks. I will be using ballet terms, however, because my brain tends to short out in moment-to-moment situations. If I forget to use a term or to describe what a term means, I will be putting it on the screen for you to see. So now we're going to be covering parallel and turnout. Parallel is just when your feet are facing forward, not when they're facing in or out. It's just straight forward. That's what we refer to as parallel. Whether it's together or apart, it's parallel. Now, most of ballet, as I'm sure you know, is going to be involving turnout. So the best way to get your natural turnout without overexerting where your legs can naturally go is through a very small process. So to find your turnout, we're going to start with our feet together and in parallel. Then all at once, you're going to tighten all of the muscles in your legs and in your butt as tight as you can, and it'll automatically cause your feet to turn out like this. This is where my natural turnout is. Obviously, for some people who are more flexible or for people who work on their turnout, they can extend it a little more and not hurt themselves. But for the sake of not trying to overexert ourselves, we're just going to go where our natural turnout is this time. Now, to plie means to bend. It is a bending of your knees, and it is used all throughout dance in pretty much every form. The important thing to note here is that when you're doing a plie, your knee needs to go directly over where your toes are. If your knee is in front of or behind the position of your toe, you could pull a muscle or hurt yourself. So you got to make sure that that knee is lined up straight with your toe. Now, the basic positions of dance are 1 through 5. Most of the time, after about the age of 6, third position is almost never used, but I will still be showing it to you. Basic turnout like this is first position. Second position is very simple. You just move your foot to the side about shoulder width apart in that second position. Third position, you take the heel of one foot and put it in the center of the other foot while maintaining your turnout. It's more of a preparation for fifth position than it is its own position. Fourth position, you're going to scooch the front foot forward and make your front heel even with your back toe. If you can't get it all the way there, that's not a problem. It's okay. Flexibility is different for everybody. In fifth position, you're going to drag this front foot all the way back so that they're touching, the heel and the toe. Still, as always, maintaining your turnout. The next thing we're going to talk about before I show you the positions of the arms for each section is point. Now, this is not in reference to dancing on point, because that is very much an advanced thing to do, but this is properly how to point your feet. So there are 3 steps to properly pointing your feet. And I do say feet because it's not just your toes that you're pointing. So you're going to pick up your foot, and you're going to start with your ankle. You're going to push your ankle forward, which out of sheer movement will push your foot forward. Now you'll push a little bit further on your foot, and then your toes will point. See how it creates a little arch? That's the kind of look you're going for. Now, if you put too much pressure on your foot while you're trying to point, it'll turn inward, which is called a sickle. That's bad for your foot and something you got to try not to do. A good counterbalance to that is attempting to make it go in the other direction. This is a side view of my foot. This is a sickle, and a bevel is when it goes this way, just a little bit. A bevel is considered better because you can't overextend in the opposite direction the way that you can on the inside, and it also creates a nice extra little curve to the line of your foot. Now that we've covered that, we're going to cover the basic positions of our arms. A lot of the times when going across the floor or working in bar and warm-up, your arms don't always match the position of your feet, but that doesn't change the fact that the arms have numbered positions. Now, first position is a circle. It's not like a regular circle. It's a little bit slanted down. So you're going to pull your shoulders back, you're going to round your arms, and you're going to create a slant from the top of your shoulder all the way down to your wrist to create this circle. Second position, much like the standing position, is just an extension outward. Third position, you bring one arm up over your head, and your hand is going to be just forward enough that you can see your pinky if you look up with just your eyes. Fourth position, you're going to bring your other arm forward into that same rounded, tilted position. And fifth position is both arms all the way up, with that pinky right where you can see it. That's going to be the end of part 1. I'll see you in part 2.